Seems like the team from start to finish is pretty much on an even keel. Is that accurate?
Who, ours?
Yes.
I don't know. We had a couple guys I didn't think were ready to play, so I didn't play them. Put them in, they didn't work where they're supposed to be, weren't paying attention in the game, so I took them out. Not gonna do it, you know. I keep trying to explain to all those guys that you got a responsibility to all your teammates. You got a responsibility to people in the stands. You got a responsibility to this university and this state to try. You know, you may screw things up, but try. When they don't do that, they're not gonna play.
Coach, can you talk about the spark that Paul Williams had off the bench for you guys early on?
Well, Paul's our best shooter, you know, and they were playing zone, and a couple other guys I didn't think took the game serious enough, so I knew Paul would take the game serious. I mean, I thought he played really well. He got tired. You know, I probably played him a little bit too long. Should have probably got him out and rested him, but he made shots. He passed the ball. That also play. Got beat a couple times back door, but seemingly so did everybody else on our team.
How luxury is it to have a walk-on that you can use? I mean, that you can put in a situation.
You know, it's great, Bob. You know what? He had opportunities, I think, to go to some other places and wanted to play here and wanted to try to play at the highest level. And you know, I think the question that all those guys ask is, am I going to have a chance? And you know, I think somebody wrote about it. Mike Daldell at Akron walked on for me and ended up being my starting two-guard on an NCAA tournament team. And I played 3 guys from the football team, by the way, on that. And then I went to Cincinnati, and Steve Sanders led the Metro Conference in three-point shooting. It was a walk-on for us, so I'm going to play the best guys. You know, I don't guys that I think are going to help us win, that's who's going to play. But Paul comes down and works, and he's got a good understanding. I mean, I played him pretty early at Kansas State game. So he needs to be ready to play. Probably needs to do a better job being ready to play than some of those other guys.
Are you satisfied where you are right now, heading into Vegas?
No. We don't pass the ball. We did a terrible job passing the ball. 15 assists and 12 turnovers. And, we just don't. We keep the ball on one side of the floor. We just don't play smart basketball sometimes. You know, you talk to them about time and score. Time and score is important. You know, a good shot, you know, 10 minutes in the game is not necessarily a good shot 4 minutes with 4 minutes to go in the game. We haven't done a very good job time and score. We haven't passed the ball very well. We got to get a whole lot better.
On the other hand, Kevin Murphy for them, I think, came into the game.
Truck did a great job.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about
Truck did a terrific job. I told Truck yesterday in practice that you're going to probably have to guard him. And I think after the first, 3 or 4 possessions, he said, I got him. I did a great job. I thought Truck could guard him, but Truck's really done a good job. He's grown up a lot. You know, defense, the Truck was like it was a bad word when he got here. And he's progressed so far, and he understands we need him to guard. We need he and KJ both to guard.
Coach, outside of Kevin's offensive rebounding, when you look at what else he does in the post, is it a big difference what he's doing now compared to, maybe a couple of years ago? It seems like he's more comfortable in the post now specifically than past years.
Yeah, he didn't play in the post. He didn't play in the post hardly any during the AAU circuit, and KJ's a special guy. I mean, KJ's a guy who never complains, a guy who you don't have to you don't have to prod, you know, to do the right things. I mean, I've said a lot of times, I mean, the guy came here and has been, from an academic standpoint, from a social standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, I mean, like, top of the line. He's a member of Mountain, you know, which is a ranking honorary society on campus. He's been on the athletic director's honor roll, and every semester. And he's the guy who had, you know, you come in here at 10 o'clock, 10:30, he's in here getting up extra shots. He's just, he wants to do right, he wants to be a good player. You know, I told you guys after the first game, I mean, if he's not a first ballot Hall of Fame member, they need to redo the committee. He's a guy who was second leading scorer on the Final Four team, a guy who's going to be top 10 scorer, top 10 rebounder, the leading offensive rebounder in school history, and on top of that, an absolutely wonderful person who's represented this university and this state in the fashion it deserves to be represented.
Seems like though, like, if his outside shot isn't falling, this gives him another avenue or option now, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's the guy who came over, and we were going to run something for Dennis. I think it was in the first overtime against Kansas State. He said, Coach, I got a little guy on me, I can score. So we flipped it and let Dennis throw him the ball rather than him throwing Dennis the ball, and he did score.
Bob, does it concern you at all that he's not shooting well from three-point
No.
at this point in the season?
No. He'll make shots. He works too hard, Dave, not to make shots. He hasn't done a very good job of getting his feet down. He's got to do a better job with his shot preparation. I think the shot's fine. I just think his shot preparation sometimes is not as good. He'll be fine.
What do your players have to do to defend against the high ball screen better? Seems like you're seeing more of that than normal.
No, we're seeing more because we take them out of what they want. They'd rather run offensive sets for Murphy. They run a lot of bend downs. They try to run a lot of ISOs. Truck did a great job of forcing them out of where he wanted to go. So, I mean, if you saw, the point guard was dribbling around there for about 20 seconds one time trying to find somebody to throw it to, and there was nobody open. So the result is you have to ball screen. But we work on it all the time. We work on ball screens. We work on guarding the ball. And if you think about the last 4 years, we've taken people out of what they want to run. And so consequently, what you do is you ball screen. You ball screen, or you just flatten everybody out and play one-on-one. So I don't know. You know, there's not a definitive answer. I mean, you know, everybody guards it a different way, and everybody kind of changes how they guard it. If you're guarding a guy who's going to step behind it and shoot it, then you guard it one way. If you guard a guy who rejects it a lot more, you guard it another way. Theirs was really high. We should have went under it more than what we did. But
Bob, you're sitting on 700 with one more win. Would you explain either what it means to you, or if it doesn't mean a heck of a lot, why?
Bob, honestly, I don't think about those things. I don't know. I guess growing up the way I grew up and growing up in the home I grew up with, my father. I mean, my father's in every Hall of Fame there is in Ohio, and nobody could ever get him to send in his resume. You know, the guys that I grew up with basically are the guys who went and researched it and put his resume together and sent it in for him. None of that stuff's ever been important, and I guess some of that's maybe rubbed off on me to a degree. I've never done this for any other reason than I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed working with young people. I enjoyed watching guys grow. I saw it as an opportunity that you can help people. You know, you get a whole lot more excited getting phone calls from guys that are successful and they want to share that with you, you know, than you do dude, you know, but I mean, I've done this 30 years. But you do it 30 years, you better win some games. You're probably selling insurance. You know, so,
Looking down the road, do you have any idea, I mean, have you even thought about retiring?
I can promise you this, I won't do this as long as what you've done, what you're doing. I can promise you that.
Well, Coach, I'm 88 and a half. I don't think you'll.
I can promise you I won't be. I don't know, you know, I still enjoy doing it when
I do too, Coach. That's the reason I'm still.
Well, I know that you're different than me, because I'm gonna come a point in time where here's what I've always said. When the point in time comes that I don't think I can give them everything that I have, then I'm gonna quit. I'm not gonna cheat them. I'm not gonna be one of those guys who, you know, who kind of quits working, who quits caring, who doesn't come prepared to practice. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go out that way. I don't want to go out being a bum. I want to go out and let people know that I did everything I could possibly do when I went out and did that. Bob, to answer your question, I'm very fortunate in my life. I said this on the radio. I'm very fortunate in my life to have great friends. And Steve Farmer's a very, very dear friend of mine. And I had whatever, if it was 599, we were getting ready to play Canisius, and I'm getting phone calls from people, you know, and want to make sure, you know, I know you're going to win, congratulations, you know, great deal. And Steve calls me and he goes, you know, he says, 599 wins. He said, wow, man, that puts you in a elite company, and that's a wonderful thing. He said, but you know, I was looking, and you've lost 200 and whatever it was, 200 some games. He said, man, how can you lose that many games? And so, you know, you have friends that kind of, you know, remind you that I'm not going to be 700-0, you know.
That's what Rose always said. He said, everybody talks I got more hits than everybody. He said, I also made more outs than everybody.
It's true. You know, I mean, that's what some of those home run guys said. They said I had 690 home runs, and they don't count how many strikeouts I had.
Do you enjoy as much, let's say, today than 10 years ago?
I'm a lot smarter than I was 10 years ago, I hope. You know, I don't have to be in the office. I mean, I used to be in the office at 7 in the morning, and I wouldn't leave until 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I used to go recruit and work like crazy, and I'd have one of them old guys beat me out for a kid, and I'm like, man, what did they do that I didn't do? Well, what they did was, they've been doing it so long, they knew what was going on. They're on TV all the time. You know, you get smarter, hopefully, as you get older. You don't have to put quite as much time in as what you used to put in. Not that you don't put time in, you still have it. In our businesses, that's what it's about. But I don't know. You know, I've got other things that, you know, which I kind of really got into at Cincinnati. I really like doing charity things. You know, I enjoy that. It makes me feel good. You know, the deal that we're doing, the endowment we're doing at the Cancer Center in my mother's name, makes me feel good. You know, I enjoy that. I enjoy, I mean, we've all been affected by cancer, you know, in some form or another. We've all had family members. You know, we've all cried, you know, because cancer's affected people that we love, and it makes you feel good that you're trying to do something. You know, it makes me feel good that my mother would want that. You know, it's kind of the same thing. I'm really involved in 2 deals, and the other one is Remember the Miners, where we're giving scholarships to siblings of miners, and you know, and I grew up in coal towns, but you know, when I went down to Montcoal, and I went down to Upper Big Branch, and you're there, and you see the people, and you feel the hurt. You want to do something. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. You know, and Jason Parsons says we should do something we should do a charity to give scholarships to the siblings of miners. I thought, man, that's a great idea, because what else you can do? And awareness of those great people, those people who risk their life on a daily basis. So that the United States can have energy. I mean, and those are two things that I've got great passion for. I mean, I get like people want me to do everything, and I just don't have that passion for other things. You know what I mean? Like I get tired of we need to go help these people. Well, let me ask you something. What do they do for us? You know, when New Orleans was underwater, I didn't see those people sending stuff over here to us. I just as soon do things that help the people that we know. The endowment of my mother's name stays right here in West Virginia. Stays right here at West Virginia University. Remember the miners. That stays in the state of West Virginia, and I think that's important. I mean that's just me, and I've done all kinds of stuff. And then you look around, you're like, where'd that money go? At least now I know where it's going. So I enjoy that. And then maybe at some point in time in my life, I'd maybe rather do that than do. I'm not there yet, though.
Coach, we had a chance the other day to tour the practice facility.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts now it's almost finished, you've seen it, your thoughts of it, what's it mean to the program?
Well, I've said many times, when you're scrambling around trying to find a place to practice, it's not a good deal. We needed a place to practice. We needed a place. When I was here, we couldn't play full court in the Coliseum because it was pretty much the rec center, and I wanted a place where our guys could go work on their games. I want them to have opportunities that a lot of people that played here didn't have, and we've never really, because this building is used for basketball during basketball season, but it's also the phys ed building, and it's also volleyball, it's also women's basketball, and wrestling, and gymnastics, and Lady Antebellum, and graduation, and everything else, and people don't understand that. So we needed a place to practice, and what I said was, if we're going to do this, why don't we do it right? Why would we be like a lot of people, build it and say, man, I wish we would have done this, I wish we would have done that. And obviously you're going to have a few things, but then I got tired of people saying, man, you understand this is West Virginia. I got tired of that. I got tired of hearing that, because I knew the passion that the people had. I knew how great the people here were, and I knew they would support us. And so I figured, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Now, isn't it great? I mean, those of us that are West Virginians, that who was I talking to today? Talking to somebody today. I was talking to somebody today who said they went to another school, which will remain nameless, and they're building a practice facility, and they showed the pictures that are on whatever it's on of our practice facility, and they said, now ours isn't going to be like this now. West Virginia's is the best, but it's going to be close, but it ain't going to be like that. I mean, what a wonderful thing. What a wonderful thing for us to say, by God, we got the best. We are the best. We got the best. I think that's great. And we've never had a place where we could show the greatness and the history of West Virginia basketball. Kids growing up don't know who Fritz Williams was. That's a shame. People don't know who Will Robinson was. That's a shame. And so I thought, as long as we're doing it, maybe we can put a place in there where we can show the history and the greatness of West Virginia basketball. And I think it turned out, really, if you ask me, I think it turned out pretty well.
I had separate for men and women, right?
Yes.
That's a good deal, too. I mean, the fact you don't have to
I don't want to get into that.
Worry about this.